Sir. So how's everybody doing today?
Okay.
You guys ready for this election cycle? Kind of an interesting one, isn't it? You know, it's an honor and a pleasure to be recognized and be selected to be the candidate for the special election. You know, with Representative Ken Buck resigning, there was a vacancy that was created. This is the second time in Colorado history that there's been a vacancy in Congress for us. The last time was in 1982, when some of you may remember the movie Apollo 13. You guys remember that movie? Kevin Bacon played a character, astronaut Jack Swigert. Jack was a Colorado resident, and he ran for the 6th congressional district when it got first established. During his campaign, he got diagnosed with cancer. He won the election, but he died on December 27th of that same year. Never made it to Congress to be sworn in. And so Colorado had to have a special election to fill that vacancy. And Bob Schaefer was the individual that got elected. So this is the second time in Colorado history that we have found ourselves having a vacancy in Congress. Folks, I can't stress enough that the CD4 election is very important, not only during the special election, but who you're going to choose to go into the primary or who goes in the general, because we got some great candidates. You're gonna meet them all. And if you haven't, I encourage you to meet them all, because they're really solid, good candidates. But one of the things I will tell you is that CD4 is not about just the district. It's bigger than the CD4 district. It's bigger than the state of Colorado. It truly is about protecting our republic. In Congress, we have a 1-vote majority right now. You just heard what is happening here in the state of Colorado when you have the Democrats control the executive branch, the Senate, and the House. Imagine what they would do to our republic if they controlled the House and the Senate and the President at the national level. You know, we've always heard that these elections are always the most important elections of our lifetime. We've heard that before. I'm here to tell you that I truly believe that this is the election cycle, that it's the most important in our history. And if you don't believe me, I would encourage you to do a little research. Because unlike what they're saying at the Capitol, think about this right now here in Colorado, you can't say illegal immigrant. You can't say undocumented. You can't say that we're being invaded. When in America did we allow government to muzzle us to say we can't use certain words? And it's happening here in Colorado. So we need to stand tall. You know, I was in the military, you know, and some people say, hey Greg, so how's it gonna work? I said, well, when I was in the military, we'd go to TDY, temporary duty assignment. So I'm going on a temporary duty assignment for 6 months. And then I get to come home. But I am gonna stand in the gap. Because we do need to have a strong conservative voice in Congressional District 4. You know, one of the things that I will tell you is that, you know what, I am going to work as hard as I can to make sure that we figure out why we can't close the border. Seems pretty simple to me. And I'm here to tell you that the Hispanic community in Colorado, they do not want open borders. Don't you dare drink the Kool-Aid and think that the Hispanic community wants open borders. How do I know that? Because I'm one of them. We talk to our community, and our community is upset about what is happening in our border. You know, you go to Colorado, you go to Denver now, there are some intersections that if you stop at the light, they'll come out and try to wash your windshield. Just like you were in Mexico. And they expect you to pay them. This is wrong. Just plain wrong. So I'm going to be that voice and talking about we got to close the border. The other thing is our national debt. $34 trillion is our national debt. And it goes up by it goes up $1 trillion every 100 days. Every 100 days, it goes up by $1 trillion. We need to figure out why we're spending way too much money. Where's it all going? Look, some of you may remember, I was the director for the United States Small Business Administration here in Colorado. The highest ranking position representing small business across the entire state. I was the voice and face of 860,000 small business owners. And I'm here to tell you that when Governor Polis shut down Colorado with COVID, he destroyed hundreds of thousands of families because he shut down their businesses, restaurants, and so forth. It's proven. So we need to make sure that we maintain strong in our economy and make sure that we're doing the right thing, specifically for each other of us. Look, I just got interviewed by the Washington Telegraph when I was out in Washington. I went to Washington last week because everybody said, Greg, you need to come down here, you need to talk to us. Let me tell you who I met in 2 days. I spoke with Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan is the chair of the Judiciary Committee. Ken Buck sat on the Judiciary Committee. I'm telling them that it's time that they allow me to stay on the Judiciary Committee because they're looking at maybe they should bring a senior individual. So you know what? People are watching. People are watching, and it's 6 months. You need to reevaluate that. We had a good conversation about it. I think I did make a good argument. I think he did listen to what I had to say. Then I met with the Speaker of the House. I sat down with him and talked to him about what was going on. He encouraged me. He was very happy that I was going to be in the special election because he said, Greg, we need you. We need you. We need you up here. So he said, hey, I know you get elected on the 25th, which is a Tuesday. I need you to go ahead and schedule your flights for the 26th. We need you here the next morning because we need to get you sworn in. I met with Representative Scalise, the majority leader. Talked to him about what's going on. I talked to Representative Doug Lamborn. Spent a lot of time with Congresswoman Lauren Boebert to make sure that I understood what was going on out there. I spent some time with Bob Good, the representative of the Freedom Caucus. If you haven't been to Washington, Washington, when they say the Beltway, you cross that Beltway and it does have a totally different feel about how they do business over there. I'm going to tell you, I'm in a very unique position because everybody over there already understands how people are voting. I'm kind of like the new kid in school. Everybody wants to make friends with me. Everybody wants to know, how am I going to vote? How do I look at things? Which is fine. Because it's important for them to understand that I do have a voice, and CD4 is important. I come from humble beginnings, like most of you, I'm sure. I don't come from money. My mom and dad grew up working in the fields. My dad had a 6th grade education, never truly learned how to read and write. My mom has a 10th grade education. But they told us boys that if we stay out of trouble, we go to school, we do our homework, we hang around good people, and we work hard, we can live the American dream. Well, I stand before you as a true example of the American dream. I'm a military guy. When I raise my hand and take an oath to defend the Constitution, you can be rest assured I'm going to defend the Constitution. I carry the Constitution in my pocket because it's one of the most important documents that our founding fathers gave us. And the minute we ignore this is the minute we're going to lose our republic. We must stay grounded. Folks, I'm here to tell you that if we do not unite as a party, if we do not come together, we will always be struggling on how we're going to save our nation. There's a voting bloc out there that is dying to become a part of a party, truly become a part of it. And that's the Hispanic community. Let me give you some numbers real quick. 689,000 Hispanic Americans in the state of Colorado. Hispanic Americans that can vote. 22% of the population in Colorado is Hispanic. 52% of that population is registered to vote. That means 380-some thousand representative of the Hispanic community are not voting. I ask them, why don't you vote? Here's what they tell me. Greg, we've seen our parents vote on the Democrat ticket, we've seen our parents and family vote on the Republican ticket. Nothing changes for us. Nothing. We're kind of that invisible community. Just think about the racial divide today. You hear it's about the blacks and the whites. We're the Hispanic community. The good thing is that, you know what, they believe in our values. They're conservatives, they just don't know it. You know, they're strong in their faith, they're strong in family, and they're strong in freedom. They don't want government telling them how to live or where to live their American dream. Look, folks, I'm going to close by telling you this. If there was ever an election, that you say, you know what, I got to make sure that we win, I'm here to tell you it's CD4. If you care about our nation, you will make an investment in my campaign. You will. You know, I'm asking everybody, when I go out and talk, and I'm going to ask you right now, how many of you, raise your hand, how many of you are willing to make an investment? I'm not going to tell you how much. How many of you are willing to make an investment in my campaign and make sure that we keep CD4 as a Republican seat? Raise your hand. Good. You know, my website is greglopez.co. We will win this seat. But it's more about than this seat. Because as sitting congressman, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be talking to the Hispanic community. I'm going to help candidates in CD4, and CD8, CD3, CD5, CD1. It's time for people to understand who we are and who we fight for. You know, folks, I'm going to stick around. You know, today I have to go to the Capitol, or I should say the Secretary of State's office at 1 o'clock. Because they're going to draw the names on which name shows first on the special election. And because it's the Secretary of State, I got to make sure they do it right.